Chronic stress and burnout have become an almost expected, normalized part of being a knowledge worker. Industry reports on the state of work this year, in 2024, have suggested that a staggering 8 out of 10 employees will be at risk of burnout, despite the known impact of burnout on not only our own well-being, but also the friends and family surrounding us. Many of us, myself included, still seem to carry busyness as a badge of honor, saying, "I can't afford to take a break," or "I worked throughout the weekend." Why is this? The undercurrent behind all of this, whether we are aware of it or not, is a culture of output-focused productivity. It goes by other names: hustle culture, workaholism, or a culture of busyness, promoting the narrow perspective that the only path to success as a knowledge worker is to be busy all the time and often stressed. And this perspective of work, or how we think about our work, is critical. It shapes how we decide to spend our working time and how we perceive it. Our perspectives of work are often so deeply rooted in prevailing cultural attitudes, like a culture of busyness, that it can be hard to be aware of them. It can be even harder to change them. Thankfully, there has been growing attention towards alternative perspectives that take a broader and more human-centric view towards work. One such concept is time well spent at work, which proposes a holistic perspective of work where classic, output-focused productivity and well-being are considered inseparable facets of human flourishing at work. We explored the concept of time well spent in our paper published at SIGCHI 2020 and leverage it in our current paper as well. But the question remains, how do we help people to shift and broaden their perspectives of work? We designed and implemented a digital intervention that draws inspiration from cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which offers empirically validated concepts and strategies to challenge and modify deeply rooted beliefs and behaviors. Next, I'll step through each of the intervention's 3 components, starting with 1. The use of the term time well spent at work instead of productivity. 2. A mobile logging app that promotes workers to regularly log their activities, feelings, thoughts, and time well spent ratings, inspired by the CBT idea of the cognitive model, which states that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all interconnected. 3. An interactive visualization of users' log data that highlights associations between time well spent ratings, activities, and feelings in a heat map-like chart. Here, a column is selected. A column represents one logged entry, and colored cells represent selected answers for that entry, and are color-coded according to the time well spent rating. Selected columns are highlighted to emphasize associations. Alongside the visualization are CBT-inspired Socratic reflection questions that users are asked to answer at the end of their workday by reflecting on one particular logged entry of that day. For example, when users select a negative logged entry as one to reflect on, an additional question appears, asking, "Do you still agree with your past thoughts about that moment? Why or why not? For example, if you were feeling particularly negative about yourself, might other people have different perspectives?" We conducted a 4-week exploratory field evaluation where we compared the use of our therapy-inspired intervention with a baseline intervention that did not include CBT-inspired features and focused on logging on productivity rather than time well spent. 24 participants completed our study, with 12 assigned to each intervention group. All participants were graduate students who are a specific subset of knowledge workers that particularly struggle with work-related stress and may be especially susceptible to a culture of busyness. We collected survey data at various time points throughout the study, including before and after intervention use, and conducted a semi-structured interview at the outset of the study. Interview transcripts were analyzed via reflexive thematic analysis. Here, I'll highlight just a few of the findings from our paper. A notable finding was the shift in participants' definitions of productivity or time well spent from before and after they used our intervention. We considered these definitions a proxy of their perspectives towards work. For example, participant 5 in the therapy-inspired group defined time well spent before using the intervention as, "The work must be productive. The output is measurable, impactful, and leads to gain in knowledge or ideas, or helps to progress the task at hand." After using the intervention, they said, "If I can complete the goals I set for myself during the day, holistically, for work, study, personal development, mental and physical well-being, I consider it time well spent." Before using the intervention, 1 and 2 participants in the therapy-inspired and baseline groups, respectively, had more holistic definitions. After using the intervention, 6 participants who used the therapy-inspired intervention shifted their definitions to be more holistic, compared to only 1 in the baseline group. We also saw how the CBT-style reflection questions helped participants reframe negative moments during their workday and encourage alternative perspectives. Participant 9 in the therapy-inspired group said, "Like someone from the outside would see, I have all these other external stressors going on, and so taking some breaks or time spent with meditation maybe in the end is overall time well spent. When I have the same kind of thought or feeling in the future, I'll take a step back or step up out of myself and think about the other factors going on in my life. What's exciting in this quote are the signs of how this participant might be learning to practice the type of metacognitive skills that CBT emphasizes, which helps with adopting a broader and more balanced perspective of work time. Overall, our findings suggest that our therapy-inspired intervention may shift knowledge workers away from the common, narrow, productivity-focused perspective towards a more holistic perspective of work. In our paper, we also discuss how organizations might consider integrating a holistic time well spent perspective into the workplace, as well as our vision for the future of holistically designed digital tools and interventions for supporting knowledge workers. A next step is to evaluate our therapy-inspired intervention with more formal and clinically based methods. Chronic stress, busyness, and burnout should not be the hallmarks of a modern knowledge worker. Our work showcases the importance of shifting the underlying perspective that drives how we work, and the exciting potential of a therapy-inspired design approach to do so.